Yo guys, so just wanted to make a quick video. Like it's like a little remake of the previous one because the previous one was kind of bad. Like I took too long to explain each item and their utility basically, and also the editing was bad, and the tier list like was kind of bad as well. I didn't explain it that well, so let's just get straight into it. So all these mythics are super bad. You shouldn't buy them because like they just get outclassed by these three mythics. Thornmail is people that buy Thornmail for healing reduction is inting. You shouldn't buy Thornmail for healing reduction. It's just the worst healing reduction item in the game. If you're playing support Gwen, you should play this. Liandry, I'm just gonna put Liandry there because I think like it's a very niche item. You're not going to play Liandry every game, basically. So Liandry is the highest damage mythic against tanks or against like any targets. I think no, Rocketbelt is better against squishy targets, but against tanks, Mythic just outclasses Riftmaker. But the reason why it's so low is because you have less health and less sustain. And if you can survive more in a fight, you end up doing more damage. So Riftmaker just does more damage. It's just the most consistent choice. I always suggest you could wait. Oh my god, there's a stupid ad. I suggest you buy this only against free comps, and like if you have enchanters in your team that makes you survive better. And there's a lot of tanks in a free lane, like against an Ornn, a Scion, or something like that. You could definitely consider buying this. Rocket Bell. I mean, no, I'm not gonna do the mythics. I'm gonna finish this row first. Rylai Scepter against high mobility champions could be good, but I don't find the stats too crazy, honestly. Banshee's Veil, good against AP assassins, Echo, Fizz, thing like this. Abyssal Mask is a good item against AP bruisers and AP tanks like a Zac. If you want to fight a Zac, you reduce his MR and you just gain more MR when you're fighting these kind of champions. So like yeah, you can buy this item against AP champions in general and AP tanks and AP bruisers as well, like a Galu or like a Zac. Anathema's Chain, you can buy this if you're playing against like a hyper carry, like a Kog'Maw. Lich Bane, I think the item is okay if you can find good spots where to buy this item. I definitely think you can buy it, but personally, I wouldn't buy it because the item is so niche. Like the stats it gives are good, but I just never find a good spot for this item. This is like a fourth or a fifth option. To be honest, I don't think you should buy this third. Randuins can be good stats, but you should consider buying these armor items. They're just better. Gargoyles could be good late game as a fifth or sixth option. Rocketbelt good to burst low resistances targets. Like if you're playing like against an Akshan, like a Kale, if they have a lot of hyper carries in the enemy team, you want to burst them. This is a very good option. It's just better than Riftmaker if you're looking to burst. Zhonya's good against AD assassins. Spirit Visage, good item overall. It gives good stats. A good amount of MR. It's good if you're playing with enchanters like a Soraka. Like let's say you have a Nidalee in your team as well. It could be a good option. Horizon Focus is a good sixth option item. I don't think you should buy this unless like you have already have five items because this item just get outclassed by all the other AP items. This is only like a fifth option or a sixth option. Force of Nature just the best MR item in the game. If there's champions enemy team that will just one shot you and you can't do anything about it, then you should consider buying this item instead of this one. Shadow Flame. I'm a big hater of Shadow Flame because I just think this item is so dog shit. Why would you buy this item if you can buy this one? Like it doesn't make sense. It's just so bad. Even in the burst type of build, I've done some tests, and if you go Rocket Belt, Sork Pen Boots, and Shadow Flame, it just does less damage than if you go Rocket Belt, Sork Pen Boots, and Nash's Tooth. Nash's Tooth is just a more consistent choice if you want to go for burst because it just does more damage. It's just math at this point. So I don't know. I just don't like this item. It's very rare that I buy this item, honestly. Demonic Embrace could be good against tanks. Mejai's. You should buy Mejai's if you're getting to be really good on Gwen. Otherwise, you shouldn't buy this item because Gwen is like a frontline champion and doesn't have as much HP as a tank or something, so she's kind of vulnerable, to be honest, and she can die a lot. Morellonomicon, it's a good item in Gwen, but the problem is this item is so shit. Like, you should never consider buying this item unless you're the only one in the team that can proc this item the most consistently. Then I guess it's fine to buy this item. Like, you should consider buying it as a fifth or sixth option. Never before fifth item, because like the item is so shit. You lose so much damage if you buy this item before fifth item. Okay, so Riftmaker, just the most consistent choice overall. You should always consider buying Riftmaker most of the time. Is if you don't know what you're going to do in the game, just and like you should just always consider Riftmaker. Like, the item is bad. It's the reason I'm not putting it there, because the item is so dog shit. The build path feels really bad. Leeching Layer is the worst item in the game. Blasting One is 850 gold. Meanwhile, you're facing a Riven that can just buy 3 longswords, like a longsword every back. So yeah, this item just feels so fucking bad. But just Gwen is one of the champions that can utilize this item the most consistently in the entire game. I think she's the best Riftmaker user in the game. Void Staff is a good item if you have a lot. Let's say you have a lot of AP in your team, like an Azir, like a Rumble or something, and you know they're gonna itemize a lot of resistances in enemy team, and you think that it's going to be unplayable, then you should probably rush this item second or third. Depends how you feel and how ahead you are. Frozen Heart. So the stats you get from it are not amazing. They're good. But the reason I'm putting this item so high is because so many champions in the game ruin Gwen so easily, and like they don't have to do anything crazy to ruin Gwen like a Tryndamere. He doesn't have to do anything to ruin Gwen. He just right clicks Gwen and that's it. There's no counterplay. This item helps you survive hard comps, like hard AD assassins that are just unplayable against you, like hyper carries like a Yasuo, like a Yone. Like, if there's a lot of AD carries in an enemy team and it's just unplayable, you should definitely consider buying this item. It's one of the best armor items in Gwen, in my opinion. DCAP, just the best item in Gwen if you're looking to do damage. Cosmic Drive is just the highest DPS item for Gwen. People think it's Nash's Tooth, but it's actually Cosmic Drive because you gain so much CDR from it that you get your spells more often, so it converts to more damage. In one fight, you probably do more damage with Nash's Tooth, but you get your ult so much more often with Cosmic Drive that you can just pick more fights. You don't, you not most of the time you just don't need the extra damage of Nash's Tooth. You just need to have your ult more often because you can just pick more fights. So yeah, that's it. Actually, no, I forgot to do boots. So boots. This is just the most consistent item, and Gwen you should always look to play with those boots. They're just the best because of CDR, because of summoner spell reduction. Gwen is kind of like a summoner spell dependent champion. Not really dependent, but it feels nice to have Ghost and Ignite most of the time, or TP. So it's just the most consistent choice. Tabbies are not the greatest item on Gwen, but the item is so broken that that's why it's A tier and not below that. It's just that you ruin so many AD champs in top lane with buying this item. Berserkers, honestly, I think I'm gonna put Berserkers here because you don't really need attack speed. I mean, you could buy this item if you want attack speed, but personally, I wouldn't buy it. Sword Pen Boots is good if you want to match this item with Rocketbelt and like the burst build. It's definitely the way to go. Mercs, it's a good item if you're buying this item for magic resist, then it's good. But if you're buying this item for tenacity, you're trolling because you can just get so much tenacity in runes. You don't need more. And the more you get tenacity, let's say if you stack tenacity runes with this, you get less tenacity. It's a bit like armor. The more armor you get, the less efficient it is. So yeah, and this boot is just trolling. It has value. That's it. Maybe I'm gonna talk about the different build paths you can do as Gwen. So if you're going for assassin, you should go Rocket Belt, Nash's Tooth, and then Decap. And then after this, you can go defensive items because these are your core. You can just one shot anyone with these 3 items. After this, if you're going for the DPS build, you should go always 100% of the time Riftmaker, Cosmic Drive, Decap. But most of the time, you can't go this build path because you can't just go this most of the time because let's say people can buy MR, so you should probably get this third item instead of DCAP or second. Some people can legit ruin you in one team fight. They just run over you and one shot you, so this item could be a good option. Zhonya's as well. Force of Nature could be good if you're playing against like a Kassadin. Kassadin is a very unplayable matchup for Gwen. So yeah, like these are definitely good options if like you're playing against unplayable matchups. Like you can't just most of the time you can't just get these three items straight away because some champions just destroy you. So yeah, that's it. We're done for this video. Next video, I'm gonna do the matchups for Gwen. So yeah, that's it.